I'm here to show you more evidence that the political institutions and the traditional institutions are not your friend. They often collaborate, oftentimes with the religious institutions, and their collaboration is always detrimental to the people. But at the same time, these institutions and their heads, they expect the people to be subservient. They refer to the people as their subjects, as their slaves in some cases, and a lot of the people often put them at that pedestal where they cannot be criticized. So if you're one of such people that cannot criticize your traditional rulers or your politicians or your religious rulers, I highly recommend you change the channel, because here is the African Wahala. We don't like those people. And the reason is clear. The people in these institutions, they are wealthy. The rest of the population is extremely poor. The people in those institutions continue to collaborate. I'm talking about your politicians. They collaborate with your emirs, with your Abbas, with your Azis and your kings and all that stuff. They also collaborate with your pastors and your imams. Now, all the people in these categories are wealthy while you are poor, and you're expected to remain subservient to them. Use your brain. Now, I'm going to share this quick story that started in 2014. I'm not going to go into the historical context of how the ancient city of Kano became an emirate. That actually began in 1804 during the jihad that was led by Usman Danfodio, and then he converted the people of Kano, told them that they were idol worshippers and they needed to change their religion. That's how the place became an emirate, but that's another story. I digress. Let's fast forward to 2014 when Goodluck Jonathan was the president of Nigeria. Now, Jonathan decided to perform some investigation on the then CBN governor, Sanusi Lamido, and he ended up suspending Sanusi Lamido because Sanusi was guilty of financial recklessness, fraud, and mismanagement. Now, keep in mind that Goodluck Jonathan was also completely useless, okay? A useless president, extremely clueless, had no clue what to do to improve the lives of the people or the environment. The only thing that Goodluck knew how to do was how to steal money, and he did that very well, okay? And I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to claim that Buhari or all these other guys that came after Goodluck were any better. They were all terrible. PDP and APC are criminal organizations that have completely destroyed what you guys refer to as Nigeria. So Goodluck Jonathan was of no good, okay? Just so you know, I'm just putting that on the side. The same way Buhari was of no good and the same way Tinubu is of no good, that's how Goodluck Jonathan was of no good, all right? So after Goodluck Jonathan suspended Sanusi Lamido as the CBN governor, Sanusi Lamido was able to collaborate with his friend, the former governor. Back then, that guy was the governor, Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso was the governor of Kano. So due to the collaboration between the former CBN governor, suspended Sanusi Lamido, and the governor, Kwankwaso, Sanusi Lamido was appointed as the Emir of Kano, which is a traditional institution. So the fact that a politician has the power to appoint the leader of a traditional institution, that is already a conflict of interest. But that's how the fake system that Nigeria claims that it's operating on, that's how it works. Politicians appoint traditional rulers. They fund traditional rulers. That's why traditional rulers don't have a choice but to kiss their ass. And guess who suffers it? The people. The same people that call these traditional rulers, oh, my king, oh, my Abba, my queen. You are just a slave to your king. Your king is getting paid by the politicians that have ruined your lives. So you need to think twice what you're doing. Now, Sanusi Lamido opposed Goodluck Jonathan's re-election as a result of the beef that he had because Jonathan suspended him from the governorship, CBN governorship position. And the beef contributed to the decline of PDP in Nigeria. All right? PDP was of no good. He ruled peacefully, that's Sanusi Lamido, up until 2020, when he was dethroned by the new governor, Ganduje. Just so you know, Ganduje was the former deputy governor under Kwankwaso in Kano, right? And Ganduje is known as Gandola. The reason why everybody calls him Gandola is because he took bribes from some construction contractors and they recorded that exchange, and the video is literally posted all over the world on YouTube. So in a normal society, a guy like Ganduje, while he was the governor of Kano, taking bribes from contractors, he should have been investigated and thrown in prison. But that's not how Nigeria works, okay? The journalist that exposed Ganduje was forced to make a public apology and to go on exile when he was released. Then Ganduje was promoted from governorship position to become the leader of the APC, the All Progressive Party. That's how Nigeria works, okay? Don't act surprised like, what? What kind of society is this? No, don't be surprised. That's exactly how Nigeria works. It's like you have to be a top-notch criminal. You have to have your hands extremely dirty before you can be promoted into a position of high authority. That's just how Nigeria works. It reminds me of the current Senate president. This guy had mismanaged billions while he was a governor in the South, and then he was under investigation by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Next thing you know, magically, this former governor that was under the investigation of the EFCC gets himself in an election where he magically wins and becomes the Senate president. Then the head of the EFCC that was conducting the investigation was locked up in jail. That's how Nigeria works. But I digress.
That may come from the failings of politicians. So it's fine to say to a rural villager, you should send your daughter to school. But it's not fine to say to the governor, why haven't you built a school? You don't have food security. You've got millions of children out of school. It's not the fault of the children that they're out of school. Somebody was supposed to build those schools. So the difficulty for traditional institutions is, on the one hand, they're firefighters, and will continue to do that. On the other, to actually address the root causes of extremism, you've got to address questions of governance, education, healthcare, corruption. And to do that is now political. If you take the UNDP OHDI poverty index in 2015, poverty levels in Nigeria, 46%. 46% doesn't look too bad compared to other countries. However, if you break these numbers down, in the southwest of Nigeria, 80% are living above the poverty line. In the northwest, 80% are living below the poverty line. And suddenly it becomes two different countries. Okay, and even those numbers don't tell you anything. As governor of Central Bank, I looked at numbers that said people are living on less than $2 a day. And it sounds bad, but you don't really know how bad it is until you look into the eyes of a woman whose baby has just died because she cannot afford drugs worth $5. When we go into crowd resources as states, so you have state governors in the north who have 3 million, 5 million children on the streets without school. They go to China and they're looking for money not to build schools, but to build a light rail. You spend $2 billion on a light rail. $2 billion. Imagine how many children you would educate with that.
Ganduje not only removed Sanusi from the Emirate position as the Emir of Kano, he also split the Kano Emirate into 5 zones and appointed 5 new Emirs, sidelining Sanusi Lamido. That was a serious beef. Ganduje was hell-bent on using his political powers to frustrate the former CBN governor, the former Emir of Kano. And he did that. He was successful. He then broke down the entire emirate into 5 emirates, appointed 5 random people to become emirs, while Sanusi Lamido was sitting on the sideline chilling. And one of the reasons that Ganduje gave for removing Sanusi Lamido was that, and I quote, he was disrespectful and he was insubordinate.
By the time announcement was made that I had been removed for insubordination, that is the word, insubordination. And you will think that somebody who says you're subordinate to him is somebody who is superior to you. And like I said in Abuja, I have my record of service. My father has his record of service. My grandfather has a record of service. We cannot be intimidated by somebody because you're president or you're a governor, and we cannot tell you that you're wrong.
So the political leaders expect the traditional leaders to be in subordination at all times. That's how it works, okay? In a society where you guys feel like you should respect your traditional rulers that don't give a damn about you. Now, in 2023, we're fasting forward to the story. Kwankwaso's ally that goes by the name Abba Yusuf won the gubernatorial elections, and that situation weakened Ganduje's influence in Kano. Keep in mind that at this time, Ganduje had already become the head of the APC leader or chairman, wherever that position was. Abba Yusuf's administration, the guy that became the governor in 2023, decided to reverse Ganduje's policies, including the Emirates. So he decided to reinstate Sanusi Lamido as the Emir and possibly dissolve the 5 Emirates created by by Ganduje, the corrupt Gandola. Despite legal challenges and all the controversies surrounded in the court orders, Sanusi Lamido was reinstated. Okay, the Kano state government subsequently ordered for the arrest of Emir Ado Bayero, the guy that was sitting down as the head of the Emirate, to prevent unrest, and he vowed to investigate the judge that issued the order against Sanusi Lamido's reinstatement. So if you look at this summary that I just explained to you, it's a power struggle between guys in the political side of things and guys in the traditional side of things. Meanwhile, the poverty-stricken people, the common man, that's what they call them. They call them the masses, the poor people, the common men. They are subjects. They use all types of derogatory terms to describe the so-called Nigerians that follow these people. And even these so-called Nigerians, these victims, use those terms on themselves. They'll be like, oh, please pity us, the poor people. That's how Nigerians think. You're supposed to first and foremost stop having any form of respect for these characters, including your traditional rulers, your political rulers, and many of your religious rulers. They don't care about you. If you've come to a conclusion that your politicians don't care about you, then it should be easy for you to understand that your traditional rulers that collaborate with your political rulers all the time, literally get paid by them, they also cannot care about you. It's a conflict of interest. If you're from any society where your traditional rulers take money from your politicians, there is no way that they can like you. It's going to be a conflict of interest, because your interest as the people is to have a good life, survive, feed your family, take care of yourself. But that goes against the interest of the politicians. And the politicians need these traditional guys to keep you tamed and controlled. And they pay them. And if you keep on worshipping your traditional rulers because, oh, I love my culture and my tradition. My culture and my tradition it's been existing for thousands of years. I'm never going to be logical as far as it's my culture or tradition. Then you're going to be a victim. You are going to be the pawn in the game that they are playing. And that's the summary of this. But let me know what you think in the comment section.